Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate everybody's time. I'm going to actually do a live demo for you. So unlike a lot of the folks that are doing the kind of the canned recorded one, I decided, hey, I'm going to try to do the live one and see what happens. So let me give you an introduction of the problem that we're facing. So one of the things that you'll find out about Teachally is that we don't have AI in our name. And there's a reason for that, because fundamentally we're fixing a very, very specific issue. Teachers have very significant problems facing education overall. And this is not just teachers, but also administrators. Lack of resources and time, lack of supports, and everything that they build isn't necessarily standards aligned. There's a lack of differentiation for all learners, and as a result, engagement with the material for students is very bad. So just by way of introduction, so my name is Daniel Bernstein. I have been, this is my kind of second time around. I was previously a CEO of another company, and I sold that, and I became, got interested in the education side because I have 3 kids and I'm passionate about education, and my wife is also a teacher. She's a dance teacher. And we started it during COVID. So the fundamental problem that we're trying to solve is the difference between reliability and flexibility, the reliability of resources out there, such as school curriculum, the most reliable resource, but however, it is the least flexible resource available to teachers and administrators, followed by supplementals, internet search, teachers pay teachers, first generation apps, and what we call naked prompts, which is just you go into ChatGPT and say, give me a lesson on this. That doesn't work, and that doesn't work for a number of reasons. The main reason why it doesn't work, it does not give you high quality outputs. And a lot of these first generation AI apps are wrappers on ChatGPT. So while those are flexible resources, they're not terribly reliable resources. So that's what we've tried to fix. So let me go ahead and start actually a social studies class here, and I'll explain how it works. What I'm actually going to be building is I'm going to be building lessons and units within a social studies class that are truly high quality instructional materials. So not just a single lesson, but a teaching guide, full set of assessments, full set of enrichments, and a full set of differentiations as well. Okay, so let's build a social studies class here. Let's call it history for now. I can choose any of these templates. Say I want to teach from a 5Es model. I can change the duration of my class. Out of the gate, I can make my classroom multilingual. So this is on a classroom level. So everybody has access to it, so it has co-teaching capability, etc. Say I want to do it in Spanish. And next thing that I wanted to do is I want to import some classrooms. So let me go into my GSV social studies class. I want to import some standards into that. I'm teaching in Idaho. I'm in my social studies here. Let's take my history, 9th grade history. Let's pull in this standard. And what I'm now going to do is I'm actually going to build a lesson directly from that standard. So if I pull in the standard here, it's actually giving me ideas for lessons, no prompting required. And these lessons are going to be generated as high quality. But that's not enough. What I really want to do is upload a picture. Let's see here. Again, this is live, so give me a second to go to my... There we go. So I'm uploading a picture of a bridge. It reads that upload and it actually interprets that upload. And it also makes sure that everything that I'm uploading does not contain personally identifiable information. So I'm importing that picture, and that picture, of course, is a famous Edward Potus Bridge. So there is the Edward Potus Bridge. And of course, it interprets it, understands it from the standard, aligns that picture, and talks about the Voting Rights Act right there. I'm able to generate my lesson just from the picture, which is fully aligned to the standard. So while it's doing that, let me continue with my story here. Standards are critical and they're hyper-local. It's not Common Core, hasn't been Common Core for a long time, but it's also extremely regional. And standards drive curriculum development, not the other way around. That's the way that it works in the United States. And standards are explicit and factual, and there's no guesswork, which is why in our system, we've actually integrated 1 million standards right into our system that are native. And they're regularly updated and vary by state and country and by locality as well. Obviously, now we're living in a world where education is truly decentralized. So this innovation that's happening on a local level has to be decentralized. So actually, states, regions, districts themselves are building curriculum, are differentiating those lessons because they do not have access to the same resources that they had previously, including money. So we do 2 things in the Teachally. We do something called explicit alignment, which is where the teacher actually specifies the progression of learning, and we align to that progression of learning. We also could do implicit alignment, where AI actually, based upon its own knowledge base that we've trained it on, it's actually creating the right alignments with the standards. So what is Teachally about? Again, this is why we don't have AI in our name. We're about time savings. Obviously, 5 minutes for a 1 to 2 hour task. We're about curricular alignment to align to standards and scope and sequence, about differentiation and enrichment, all within a single platform that allows for multiple teachers, co-teacher substitutes to work together. Data first, AI second. So our lesson is complete. So now we have the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and its impact. What makes this high quality, that instead of actually saying, here are all these different activities that you should explore doing, it actually creates those activities for you. It creates the assessments, it creates the activities, it creates everything, including a presentation that you can actually show directly to your students. Remember how we started this as a 5Es model? It is a 5Es model right here, right? So each activity obviously has its own link, and it has its own set of things that you could actually use directly straight into the classroom. So excellent for curriculum building, and excellent for actually new teachers coming in that don't have the training to be able to teach a particular subject. In this case, what it actually generated, it generated a full teaching guide that includes the concept overview and the instructional outline, additional practice problems, real-life applications, a short little in-class assessment, and an overview of resources, because it actually pulls resources from high authority sites, so .edu sites, Britannica.com, nothing from Wikipedia, right? So it's very, very specific. And so it's actually pulling this information into the teaching guide and into the lesson. Obviously providing all the enrichments that someone needs, and it also allows you to build an assessment, so assignments as well. Talks about how it uses the HQIM rubric, and let's take a look at the presentation that it built. Notice that I did not do a single prompt to be able to get this, right? So this entire system was built, or this entire lesson was built directly from a picture and a standard alignment. So here's my the Impact of Voting Rights Act of 1965. It's pulling actual pictures. It's not generating pictures when appropriate. And it talks about the incident, talks about John Lewis with the correct pictures. And again, what you saw is live. It wasn't a pre-recorded demo. So none of what I'm showing you existed 5 minutes ago. So all this information is there, and it's right there available for teachers to use right away. Obviously, all the references are also located here. We actually have this multi-agentic system that actually queries whether or not whatever resource or whatever reference we're creating is high quality, and we use that to actually figure out, okay, how can we use this within the lesson plan? Videos as well as images. The standards are fully unpacked using the web's depth of knowledge. So now you can understand how this lesson is used, how the standards is used in reference to this lesson plan. If I wanted to build, the other thing that I want to show you guys is that you obviously, since this is a something that is live, we can actually create differentiations from that. We can create differentiation profiles. Say someone is a football player or someone is a baseball player, and that's how they're going to want to learn algebra. We can actually build that in. But if we want to do quick little differentiations, we can click on differentiation remedial advanced, and it just builds it for us right there. Now the difference is it still uses the high quality instructional materials rubric to generate those differentiations. So as a result, you're not just getting, here are some things you might want to try to differentiate to the student. You're actually getting actionable activities and engaged worksheets that you can use right out of the gate to actually work with that particular student or groups of students. And it does everything in this kind of privacy controlled manner. So that's what it's doing. It's differentiating the lessons, the lesson to that level right at this point, and it created these sorts of activities right there. So whatever it asked for, it actually created, and that's part of the way that the system is actually working. Role-playing activity, fact-checking activity, timeline activity, and there is also an assignment that it generated. And that assignment, obviously, you can move things around, and you can actually even export anything within Teachally into any platform. In this case, say you want to generate that, export that into Google Forms. Easy. You just export your Google Forms directly, and it connects up to your Google account. So I think I'm out of time at 30 seconds. That's actually pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I'm at booth number 12, which is that little table over there. Come talk to me. We'd love to kind of find out about what you guys are doing and how we can be of assistance. Thanks, everybody.